Well, hey there, everybody. It's me, Esther. Today, I want to talk to you about. I want to talk to you about when you find artificial intelligence implants devices in your mind, body, and energy field. I have not talked about this in a very long time. Happened to me last night. And also, what was connected to it was releasing trauma. Now, trauma is not the event. It's not the divorce. It's not packing up and moving to a new school with new teachers and new friends when you were a little kid. It's not falling down and breaking your arm and going through that situation. It's not your best friend walking up to you and saying, I don't want to be your friend anymore. Those are the events. The trauma is what you left unexpressed, the emotion, the hurt, the anguish, also the snap decisions, conclusions that you made in the moment, right? Like somebody breaks up with you and you're hurt and you pull that inside of you and it's still there, but you also made decisions like love hurts. I'm never going to love again. I can't trust people. And when that energy is embedded somewhere in your body, your mind, your energy field, it grows. And as it grows, it gets triggered and you attract more situations and people and events into your life that are similar until it becomes something very big and it can overcome and consume your life and become a pattern that's not very helpful for you. So I want to talk about these two things and give you some really good ideas, tips, and solutions to troubleshoot if this shows up in your life. And it's also very interesting. The artificial intelligence, I always find very interesting. So if it looks like I'm a little bit battered this morning, it's because I am. I got very little sleep last night. I was up processing all night long. And I had artificial intelligence removal, which is like psychic surgery. Really, I'm not kidding. I've done a lot of this work with myself and clients over the years, and bravo to everybody who does it because, listen, we all have artificial intelligence in us that's been placed there energetically, and it's important to find it and release it. So here's what happened. Yesterday was a gorgeous full moon in Sagittarius, very expansive, uplifting, upbeat, positive, optimistic full moon. I was riding the high of these energies all day long. It was amazing. Then around 5 o'clock, I started to feel a little melancholy. And I wasn't sure what it was, but within a few minutes, I got a text from someone. And the text was not bad. There was nothing bad about this text at all, but it triggered a memory. And there was a cascade, right? You know, when something triggers something and it's a cascade of energy and flashes and images. And I had this realization that I was being delusional of something. That something was really worse than I thought it was, and I need to pay attention to it. I need to change it. And I went, this is full moon. Full moon's about endings and about closures. Today is, and I'm feeling pretty good. Today is a great day to end this. So the inner work that I do with my clients, I do on myself. And the first thing I did was I closed my eyes and I turned within and I said, this realization that this situation is worse than what I think it is and needs my attention. When did it start? And the first thing that popped up to me was July 2022. I knew instantly what the situation was because it was a really big deal back then in my life. And I said, okay, was it that? And I got, yes, it was. And I said, but I thought I released all of the, emotion about it because I remember when this situation happened in my life, oh my gosh, I cried. I did ugly crying. I really expressed and emoted a lot. But what I was shown by my higher self was that I may have cried and released that inner anguish and sad and grief. But what I did not release was how I beat myself up about that situation. There was a lot of self-disappointment, like, oh, Esther, you did it again. Esther, you knew better. You knew better, Esther. Why did you do this? Why did you take this step? Why did you engage in this? Like, what's going on? You've done a lot of work. You've done enough work. You shouldn't have done that. And, this is your fault. You know better. You know the Britney Spears song, Oops, I Did It Again. Oh, I'm sure that was playing in my head. And that I call it self-beat, self-judgment, self-deprecation, whatever you want to call it. That's what was embedded. And that has been playing out for the last 2 years. And I saw very quickly, because I can make the connections very quickly, what it's created in my life today. And I went, oh no, I need to turn that around. I need to turn that around now. Today, on this full moon day of endings and closures, no more. So after I had explored, like, I knew what the beliefs were, I knew what the patterns, I knew what it was creating in my life, I had a full context of the situation, and I knew I didn't want it. I was very clear, time to give this up. I asked inside, where is that energy stored? And I got 3 places: in my brain, in both of my eyes, and in my belly. And I wanted to check, like, is it in my legs, in my feet, is it in my chest, is it somewhere else? And I got no, those places: brain, 2 eyes, belly. And so when I want to release energy, I mean, you can release energy in many, many different ways. But what intuitively in the moment was presented to me was to invoke a vortex of energy coming straight from source. And first it went into my belly like a spinning vortex tornado of energy, and just scooping up all that energy, the self-disappointment, the self-beating up, the self-judgment, all of that from that situation. And I always include anything connected, anything similar, right? Because if you're going to clean yourself out, clean yourself out. And then the vortex of energy just leaves and it spins off. And for me, because I'm always directing it, I send it back to source so it can be purified. It's usually purified like a fire purification. Then we go into the 2 eyes, and 2 vortexes went into the eyes. It's like it went in, it went out, pulled out the energy, gone. Then we get to the brain. All right. And I saw I couldn't send the vortex in because I had an implant in the brain. Now, I've been working on myself with removing implants from myself and with clients for years. I was taught to do this by someone who helped me when I had an implant in my jaw that made me want to, like, chew all day long. Like, I was going through the sign that I had an implant there. It was an implant that had run amok, like mechanical breakdown, and it was making me chew. Like, I was chewing like 3 packs of gum a day. I wanted to chew on like things like straws, crunch on ice. And I'm like, what is going on? And there was a lovely lady who was mentoring me with some energy work. This is years ago. She's passed on, but boy, she taught me how to identify artificial intelligence and devices and how to properly release them. And so she helped me with the jaw, and that's how I learned from her. And it's very important to properly release this stuff. I remember once I had a client who came to me and she said, Esther, I was working with somebody else and they found this artificial intelligence and they just ripped it out. And now, like, she had mental confusion, she was emotionally unstable, she was having all these physical problems. And you can't just rip things out. You can't rip spirit attachments out. I mean, you can, but it's to your detriment. You need to be very methodical and careful and strategic about this type of work. And so I looked at this device, and it was right in the middle of the two halves of my brain, and it was like a box. And out of the end of each side of the box was like a screw or a spike that went into my brain. And I'm like, well, this can't be just lifted out. We need to go about this very carefully. So when I'm doing a removal of spirit attachments, or I'm helping people like remove devices like this, I often call upon Archangel Michael. He's really good at all this. And the two of us investigated this box very carefully. And it was a mechanical box, like a tape recorder, that was just looping and taping over and over everything that I was thinking at that time of that event. Like, Esther, you should have known better. Esther, I'm so disappointed in you. Esther, you're so stupid. You know, those things. And I was able to see how the device got in there is because in that moment of high emotion, leaving myself open, it was an opportunity for low-level energies, nefarious energies, to say, let's take advantage of this and, create a tape recorder of her saying this and implant it in the brain. She's not going to notice right now because she's hurting that we're doing this, and this will help keep her off track, right? Because they want to keep you down. They want to keep you from being your best self, from shining, from getting more conscious. They don't want you living your best life, right? They want you to be full of frustration and anger and grief and upset, and I can't. So I looked at the Archangel Michael and I said, okay, what are we going to do? And he had like a spiritual energy tool, and just cut where the spikes met the box, just cut off there so that the box could be lifted up and out. And again, the box gets lifted up and out. And for me, my process, it always goes back to source, to universe. They might have to do like some intel on it to see what's going on there, but it will get purified, transformed, usually destroyed. And so then we had the 4 spikes, and what happened was like an oil, like an anointing oil, like a beautiful anointing oil was placed around the 4 spikes so that they could slide out. And they were taken out one at a time, and it looked like a screw. And soon as the spike was out, there was beautiful healing energy replaced, which is very important when you're doing this type of work. Actually, when you're replacing anything, if it's a belief, it's a pattern, if you're releasing a spirit attachment, you're changing something inside of you. When you make that release, you always want to replace it with something better. So you might replace it with a belief that's more supportive, or you might replace it and say, this is the pattern and the behavior I would like instead, or with a beautiful healing, uplifting color, or a certain vibration. Always replace it. When you leave an empty space, you leave yourself open to attach with something that's not beneficial. Okay, so beautiful healing energy went into all these 4 spikes, and then my whole brain got coated in that beautiful anointing, like a healing salve. Like, when you get a burn or you have a wound and you put some beautiful ointment on for healing. It was like my whole brain got covered with this, and I could see very quickly that my brain was healing, and the 2 halves of my brain were coming back together because they had the box in the middle. And I made sure that they were connecting, and the synapses were connecting. And I ran a figure 8, like the infinity symbol on its side, through various parts of my brain to connect left brain, right brain, left brain, right brain, left brain, right brain. And all of a sudden I started to feel so much better. But this was about 1 o'clock in the morning, and I should have been sleeping. And for the rest of the night, I kept sleeping because it was important for me to sleep in order to allow this healing to happen. But I kept waking up, I would say maybe every 60 to 90 minutes, like a sleep cycle like that, just so that I would have that conscious awareness of this work was done. We found this trauma. The trauma's been released. You don't want it anymore. It is gone. It is done. Your brain is healing. Your eyes are healing. Your belly is healing. And it was just important for me to know this. So I woke up this morning and I'm a bit tired, and the water is out in my apartment, and the tripod I use for my videos is broken. But I really wanted to get this video out for you because I thought it's important that people know this. It's important that people know this information, that they may have artificial intelligence in their body. And how to deal with trauma, because when trauma is embedded, that unexpressed emotion is embedded in your body, it affects your life. So, how to identify artificial intelligence? You can start doing it on your own, and if you can't, you can work with someone like me to see if you have it. But I always say, let life events, and universal energies point it out to you. Like yesterday, right? I was feeling melancholy. Got a text. The text, there was nothing wrong with the text, but boom, it triggered a realization. Oh my God, I've been living in delusion. And when did this start? And I was able to take myself back. So life situations led me to my awareness. Okay. You'll have some idea of a belief or a pattern, or, just people come to me and say, Esther, this is just not working, or something's wrong, or I don't want this anymore. And you just turn within and ask questions and explore and do self-inquiry to find out what's going on. When you have discovered it, how do you release it? You can release it by just saying, I release it now. You can release it by doing a visualization. I brought in a vortex of energy to spin it up and out. Okay? People will release it doing stretching, during body work, fascia decompression, somatic releases, deep breathing. Right? Breathing into that space. I knew it was in my belly and my eyes and the brain, and I could have breathed into my belly to release it. There's a lot of ways. Even I still do it. I find exercise, like if you go, I used to go to the gym and just pound it out at the gym to do a release. Now I would go for a swim, and while I'm swimming, I would just say, I'm releasing into the water. I'm releasing into the water, releasing into the water. Okay, so whatever works for you, and different things will work at different time. Okay? And always ask yourself, when you've done release work, if there's something that you can do to help with the integration. Okay, so for me, I knew I needed to sleep, and I knew I needed to do this video to help bring awareness to other people. And even though I've got work to do, because I'm working on my brand new website, I am going straight to the beach to do grounding on the earth, to go swimming, to get a mineral infusion from the sea, to get healing red light from the sun. This is part of my daily practice, but it is particularly important today. So I'm prioritizing it over the work that I need to do. And whatever comes up to you as an action step, please take that action. Okay? That's your responsibility and your change. Now, regarding finding devices in artificial intelligence, again, I'm going to step out and say we all have it. We all have it. Some of it's benign. Some of it just hangs out and is either activated at some time, is not. Some of it's old and becomes malfunctioned, like what I had in my jaw years ago. Please don't rip these things out. Make sure you explore and look at it and very delicately take it out. You can call upon Archangel Michael, whatever guidance that you use to help you with it. Remember, when you remove anything, replace it with something more supportive. Use energy healing bombs, beautiful colors, whatever it is. What you can do to start out is just close your eyes and call upon your body and your higher self, and ask body, higher self, scan my body and my energy field and show me by lighting it up where where I'm holding artificial intelligence devices, anything mechanical, metal in my body. Usually, and this is from my experience working with clients, people will say things like, it's like a black dot, it's a button, it's a coin, it's a manhole cover, it's a shadow, it's a blanket, or it's an actual device, often like a tape recorder, a cassette tape recorder. Could be an 8-track, a movie projector, right? Looping that memory, looping that scene over and over and over again. Sometimes it's a rod or a screw, and sometimes shadows, like I've got a shadow on my brain, or there's a shadow, like a covering on my shoulder. So these are ways it could appear to you. You might just get a flash of light, and that's your body and higher self saying, pay attention, there's something in your right shoulder, and then you can go investigate it a little more. And yes, just be very careful when you're releasing it. But you'll do good work. I know you'll do good work. So anyhow, here I am today. Went through this big full moon experience. It was very good. Although I'm tired, I feel good. I'm very happy it's gone. It was a 2-year pattern that was ready to end. It was ready to end, and I'm so glad that I was shown this yesterday so that I could take steps on it. All right. So I wish you well with your day and with your inner work. If you need my assistance with a reading or doing some sessions, right now I am in the midst of changing websites, creating a brand new website. I'm repositioning, rebranding myself. Still going to do great personal development and spiritual growth work with everybody, but I want to bring in more lifestyle information. Here's why. I realized that you can do fantastic inner work, but if you don't have the lifestyle that supports your inner work, you won't get the results that you could be getting from your inner work. And as a practitioner, after I had this realization, I understood I was doing a disservice to my clients by not also saying, hey, let's look at your lifestyle. Let's look to see if your lifestyle supports this change that you want. Right? So somebody might come to me and say, Esther, I'm having trouble sleeping, and I'm working with a holistic practitioner, but I want to see what the mental emotional component is, because this is the thought process that happens at night when I can't sleep. And so we look at that, and let's say we have a session, and it's a great session, and we resolve lots of things, but then as soon as my session is over, that client goes onto their device, onto their laptop, iPad, whatever it is, and for the next hours, they're binging Netflix with artificial blue light, no red screen, no blue blockers in front of this EMF emitting device, which is detrimental to good sleep. And we've just done great work on the emotional mental level, right, regarding sleep, but they're not supporting it because they're on their device in front of artificial blue light and non-native EMFs. So it's important for me to bring that up to them and say, hey, do you know that a contributing factor to the lack of sleep might be how much time you're spending in the device and how much time you are not spending outside in the sun under red light? So in order for me to feel like I'm offering the best that I can offer, it was important for me to expand my umbrella, my reach of what I'm offering, and incorporate lifestyle. Still focusing on the core beliefs and the inner work and the consciousness and the subconscious parts and aspects of self. That's foundational. And then for me, the lifestyle, the foundational piece is the circadian and quantum information practices in biology. And I want to do more of that. And it excites me. And so that's the switch I'm making. My website should be ready to go. It could be done very soon, but I'm going about it very slowly and methodically and making sure I am aligned with every change I'm making. But by mid-June, end of June, it should be ready to go. In the meantime, yes, I'm still doing sessions with people, but just reach out to me because not all the links are working on my old website and the new website's not ready to go yet. And you can reach out to me at Esther, ESTHER, at whispersfromthesoul.com, and we can get you started. All right. And watch out for the announcement of my new website because I'm going to have a new newsletter and I'm going to have a new offering for people who opt into my newsletter. And I'm doing a new personal one-on-one jumpstart program with people who really want to manifest things, but they need a little extra support. And I'm really excited about it. In the meantime, I'm getting ready for the ladies who are coming to Corfu to enjoy me for the Escape into the Blue Corfu Ladies Retreat. And it's going to be great. I can't wait to meet them. And if you're watching, to meet you. I can't wait to meet them and just have a really great girl time here in Corfu. All right, everybody, watch for the next retreat. Love you lots. Ciao.